start. So we're coming into a child's pose to begin. So let your knees go super wide, big toes come together. Good to see all of you. Have a good practice. Ditch your phone, throw it to the other side of the room. Lock yourself in your bathroom or your closet, wherever you are. And enjoy this time. So just connect to your breath right now. Slide your arms all the way forward. Yep. Spread your palms wide. Good morning, Shari. We're starting in child's pose. Move your seat back further away from you. Yeah. And if you can, let the front of the forehead rest on the mat. Find extension. Now, here in this basic child's pose, just crawl your arms a little bit more forward and then take your left hand on top of your right palm and then just walk your hands like 2 or 3 inches over to the right. So just get this very subtle side body stretch. So you're still in a child's pose. Your left hand is working its way onto your right top of the right palm. And you're just finding a little side extension. Just make sure that your seat doesn't lift. So if it does, you've gone too far. And just keep your eyes closed and just feel your breath. And then separate your hands, slide them a little bit more forward, and then crawl your right hand on top of your left hand, and then walk your hands, crawl them a little to the left. Maybe an inch, maybe a half an inch, 2 inches. And just keep moving your hips back as your side body gets this nice long extension. And in yoga, sometimes just feeling things a little different is all that we need. Slide the hands back apart. Good. Press up onto all fours into a tabletop position. So here we are in tabletop position. Yeah, in tabletop, just bring your hands just a tiny bit more forward. Keep your toes curled into the mat. Slide your right leg back, just kind of like a half plank. Yeah, just do that. Contract your thigh and make sure this is your pelvis. So this entire practice is really about keeping our pelvis neutral and never coming out of alignment. So do your best with that. Take your right foot, walk it across your body over to the left. So you're just taking a gentle cross body with your right leg. Good, keep looking forward. Now, if you can, and your balance allows you to, slide your left arm forward. So you're taking this cross body with your right leg. So your right leg is walking to the left side of your mat, maybe even off your mat. Your left arm is reaching forward. You're having difficulty now probably with your balance a little bit. So firm up your right hand, press it firm into the mat. Firm up your right tricep. Good. Draw your core in if you can. Good. And then stay with this for another breath or two. Good. Keep reaching your arm forward. Just bring your right foot back and float it up. So just back to neutral and float it up. So you're kind of like in a warrior 3-ish type thing. One more little thing. You take your left arm out to the side like an airplane wing, palm facing down. Keep your dristi on one spot, just playing with balance. That's all we're doing. Keep the breath moving. And from your collarbone to your left fingertips, find space without moving your hips. And then from your right hip all the way towards your back, right foot heel, extend. Hand and knee come to the floor, pause. Tabletop position. So just move slow. Curl the left toes into the mat, just do that much. It's like a half plank. So we take things in steps and you stop where you feel that you're getting what you need. Walk your foot across to the right. So mine's going towards my fireplace. It's actually going off the mat. But if your hip is super tight, you might not go as far. Keep your dristi on one spot. This is your TFL. All the muscles in your hip connect. Great stretch. Reach your right arm forward. Pause. Visualize your breath. Feel your breath. And just make a connection to yourself right here. Reach a little bit more with your right arm. Keep reaching your right arm. Walk the left foot back, float it up only hip height. Lift from the lower belly, lift from the thigh bone, from the inside of your leg. And then see if you can keep the lift of the leg. I'm gonna take my right arm out like an airplane, right out to the fire without touching it. From your chest, from your collarbone, breathe extension through your fingertips. Keep looking to the front edge of your mat. Take another big breath in. Find space. Hand and knee come to the floor. Creep the hands out an inch or two forward. Curl the toes into the mat and come on up into a down dog. Good. Yeah, I have special lighting from the sun today on my mat. I'm going to take advantage of that extra vitamin D. Breathe your hips up off your shoulders here in downward facing dog. Bend behind your knees a little bit, a lot. Kathy, bring your hands a little closer in. Yeah. And then just look at your hands and make sure, because I can't see your fingers, make sure your index fingers are forward for me. Yeah. You can read a lot of information from your hands and your feet. Shari, same for you. Hands are much too wide. Bring them a little closer. Yeah. Then let your head go. Pick something to focus on. Nice. Kristen looks good. Are you giving your mom cues? Yeah, I know. Just stay still for a few more moments. The idea of perfecting a pose, throw that out. It's not happening this year. It's not happening any year. We're never going to perfect the postures. It's about finding our alignment, and everybody's bodies are a little different. So the goal in this practice is to set you up for success in your body. Roll forward plank. And I hate to break it to you, every day our bodies change, unfortunately. So we have to just kind of roll with it. Find a nice plank here. Modify if you can't support yourself. The knees just drop. It's simple. This is still hard. Contract the lower belly. Move your eyes to the front edge of your mat. Feel like you're pulling the mat apart in opposite directions. If you're sitting back in your heels, you're not going to have that proper extension. Bring the weight forward onto your tippy toes. Feel your hands press firm. Keep the breath flowing with your eyes moving forward. Bend your elbows in half, chaturanga. If you're taking push-ups today, bend them in half. You can also drop your knees, or you can just hold plank or supported plank. Straighten your arms to a plank position. Hips up and back, downward facing. I encourage you to move slow in the beginning. Roll forward plank. Neck is neutral. Look forward. Bend your elbows in half, or even just a micro inch. Re-straighten your arms, plank. Hips up and back, downward facing. If you're struggling with those push-ups, drop your knees or omit. Roll forward plank one more time. Bend your elbows in half to a chaturanga pause. Lead with your heart and chest for an up dog or a baby cobra if you need to modify this morning. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Look to the top of the mat. Take a big step with your right foot. Come to your fingertips. And then guide your left foot to meet it. You can practice with your feet hips width if that feels good. Long spine on the inhale, or hands to your shins if you're having difficulty. Exhale, fold, let your head go. Root to rise, come all the way up. Drag it to prayer at heart center. Drop your arms. Stand for a moment in today's body. Good. Slide the arms straight up towards the sky. Dive over bent knees, forward fold. As your head goes, bend your knees and let everything fall to the floor. Good. Come to the fingertips, long spine. Plant your palms. Take two big steps back to a plank. Bend your elbows in half to a chaturanga or something that resembles it. Drag yourself to an up dog. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. So just going to remind you, you can move through all of the vinyasas and just work from a down dog, and you're going to get just what you need. Look where you want to go. Take a big step with your left foot. Yeah. Breathe your right foot forward to the top of the mat. Long spine on the inhale. Hands can also be on your shins. Exhale, fold, let the head go. Root to rise, come up, get grounded. Hands to prayer at heart. Drop your arms. So start to link your breath with the movement. Arms reach up. Dive over bent knees, forward fold, let your head go. Come to the fingertips, long spine. You're gonna step. Try not to jump yet. We gotta get a little warmer. Plank position, bend your elbows in half, chaturanga. Drag yourself through an up dog, point your toes, active legs. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. It's like peeling the layers of an onion, each one. We're getting a little closer to the core. Press down, look where you want to go. Step or float this time, top of the mat. Long spine, inhale, breath. Exhale, fold, let the head go. Root to rise, come all the way up. Drag it to prayer at heart center. Drop your arms. Keep going. Arms slide up. Dive over bent knees, forward fold, let your head go. Come to the fingertips, long spine. Step or float. If you're gonna float, you must land with bent elbows to a chaturanga. Upward facing. Hips up and back, downward facing. Press down, look where you wanna go. Step or float, feet to the top. Long spine on the inhale breath, keep that weight forward. Exhale, fold over yourself. Root to rise, come all the way up. Drag it to prayer at heart. Drop your arms. Last one, arms reach big. Dive again over bent knees. Hopefully starting to feel a little bit more loose. Long spine on the inhale, let the shoulders slide down the back. Set yourself up for plank or float to a chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Good, roll forward to plank. Yeah, the party's starting. Hug your right knee straight in. Yeah, your arms are straight up and down. Your back left leg is super engaged. And remember, I'm going to talk a lot about how keeping our pelvis neutral. So the hips are squared towards the mat. Yeah, hug the right leg a little closer. Land your right foot behind your right wrist. Come to your fingertips. Let's actually do this. Drop your back knee, but keep the toes curled for a moment. Yeah. And you may choose to keep this leg down. That's fine. I'm just giving you options. Scoop your right hip underneath you. Come to your fingertips and pull your chest forward slightly. Look forward a little. I'm looking at my dinky little space heater. Yes. Arms reach out like big airplane wings. Now listen, if you don't have the space, if you're in a tighter space, you can cactus your arms. Options are there for you. So now you're kind of soaring over this front leg. Now, grip your hips underneath you. Keep your arms energetically reaching and then begin to fire up your back leg. So now you're in this hovering low lunge. Now lift your stomach enough off your right thigh so you're not just resting on it. So you're actually doing something. Yeah. And then pause. Keep the neck nice and neutral. Feel the extension through the back leg and decide if this is too much, back out. Good, now as you start to lift your waist and your torso, your palms are gonna turn up and you're gonna scoop out and up towards the sky. Crescent lunge. Envision holding something over the top of your head. And if it doesn't feel good in your shoulders, widen the positioning for yourself. Your hip points are moving forward. Your tailbone is going long. And you feel your feet firm on the floor. Look up with your eyes. Hands drag to a prayer. You're gonna lean out about 2 or 3 inches, pause, and then left hand will come down and right arm will open. A block is very useful. Place it underneath the shoulder to give yourself that space and stack open. Easy twist. Grip your right hip underneath you. So the tendency is our right hip wants to wing out. The twist is coming from above the belly button. Your back leg stays strong. Give it a little bit more energy. Feel the weight in your right heel. Twist open. Look down, place both hands to the floor. Make sure if you have your block, just slide it forward. Take your right hand and wrap it behind your right heel. So you're gonna grab your hand around your ankle. Your left hand is either gonna go onto the floor or a block. You're gonna float up into this funky standing split where your hip is gonna stay squared. So I'm grabbing behind my right calf heel area. Your hand can be on the block or it could be out in front of you on the floor. Your head hangs soft. Your belly drapes over the front of the thigh. Just do your best with this. Don't open the hip. Make a connection, breathe into the back side of the body. Come to the fingertips, long spine. Take a giant step back into warrior one, please. So turn your back foot, set up your feet, root to rise, come up. Your back foot is now turned enough forward. Let's do this, guys. Straighten your right leg. So you're in a little bit of a like wide leg kind of set up for warrior one. It may feel a little wider to you. Steer your right hip back and your left thigh forward. Lift through your waist. Look up with your eyes. Then rebend the front thigh, warrior one. So you're bending into the thigh, not into the joint of the knee. Steer your left hip and waist forward and your right hip back. So your torso is facing the front edge of the mat. Sit a little deeper. Hands to the floor, plank position, pause. Get to plank, stay in plank, or bend your elbows in half to a chaturanga, but hold. Draw your waist up, contract the thighs. Re-straighten your arms. Hug your left knee in. Scoop out your belly. Your arms are straight up and down, and I like to look forward a little. Good. Land your left foot forward, drop your knee at an angle, come to your fingertips, pause. It's a very gentle movement of your chest kind of moving forward. It's like a little up dog. And just begin to breathe. Grip your left hip underneath you, and then lift your belly up enough that your arms begin to kind of tee out like a cross. Grip the hip in. Make sure all the weight isn't dropping down. You're using your core muscles to hold you up. You may choose to stay here. This is fine. If you want to move on, engage the back leg, grip the outer hips in, and come up into this crescent lunge, low hovering with your arms out. Your obliques need to work to really support the core here. Yeah, flip the palms up and begin to move the torso up, crescent lunge. Hip points move forward, weight is in the standing left heel, back leg strong. Look up a little with your eyes. Hands drag to a prayer. We lean out in front of us about 2 inches, and then right hand comes down maybe to the floor of the block. Left arm opens, easy twist. Think about lots of space in the body, and in turn, we find more space, hopefully, in our minds. Grip the left hip underneath you, activate the back leg. Give it a little bit more. Look down, left hand comes to the floor, pause. So keep your right hand down or slide your hand onto a block if you feel you need a little lift. Left hand scoops up behind you, pop that back leg up into this kind of interesting standing split. I want your arm a little bit more forward, your right arm. Yeah, so your tricep can kind of hug in, and then draw the torso over the front of the left thigh as you lift from your inner right thigh. Let the head go. Hips aren't opening. Soften the shoulders down the back. Feel the back side of the body open. Good. Come to the fingertips, long spine. Giant step back, turn your back foot, set up your feet and your legs. Warrior one, come on up. When you come up to warrior one, straighten out your left leg for a moment. Your arms are straight up and down and your legs are straight. Steer your right waist and your hip forward, scoop your left hip back, ground the outer blade of your right foot, and then rebend the front thigh. And then sometimes you're able to get a little deeper, maybe slide your foot a little bit more forward. Looks good. Look up a little. Hands to frame your front foot. Vinyasa or not. So at this point, you're like, okay, I've had enough push-ups already. Just move through a down dog then. And that's where we'll meet. Take a deep breath in. Take a loud exhale, breath out. And here we go. Look where we want to go. Step or float, feet to the top. Long spine on the inhale, breath. Exhale, fold over yourself. Sit into chair. I will be kind. Chair pose. Move the weight into your heels. Yes. Press up to stand. Drag it to prayer at heart. Drop your arms. Couple together. Here we go. Arms reach up. Drop your seat into chair. Dive over bent knees, forward fold, let your head go. Come to the fingertips, long spine. You can step, or you can float at this point. Good. Make it light though. Up dog. Hips up and back, downward facing. Land your right foot forward, back foot turns. Warrior one is what we're looking for. Crescent lunge if you got a thing with warrior one and you're just not into it. Yeah. Hands come down, vinyasa or right to a dog. When you get to your down dog, glide your left foot forward, turn your back foot strong, and then come up. Take enough time so you can really feel what you're doing. You're just not flying through it. Yeah. Hands come down, vinyasa or not. Up dog is a back bend. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Take a full breath out. Look where you want to go. Step or float, feet to the top. Long spine on the inhale, nice. Exhale, fold over yourself. Sit into a chair. Your feet together, feet separated. It doesn't matter. Shoot up to stand. Drag your hands to prayer. Drop your arms. Stand still for a moment. Again, arms reach up. Yeah, Mark, I'd separate your feet hips width distance. I think you're going to get more out of it. Sit into chair. Feet hips width distance. Try it that way. Yeah. Dive over, bend knees, forward fold. Let your head go. Come to the fingertips, long spine. Step or float through your vinyasa. Upward facing dog pulls you through. Good. Hips up and back, downward facing. Right foot forward, back foot turns, warrior one. So if I'm moving too fast or too slow, just find the pattern of energy that works for you. Hands to the floor, vinyasa or not. When you get to your down dog, you land your left foot forward, building some momentum. Warrior one, come on up. Bring it back down to the floor. Plank position, chaturanga. Upward facing point. Legs are active. Downward facing dog, hips press back. Deep breath in. Loud breath out. Let's do one more. Look where you want to go. Step or float, feet to the top. Long spine right here. Weight stays forward. Exhale, fold. That was a good hop there. Sit into chair. Feet together or separated, hips width. I don't care. You got to play with what feels good. Shoot up to stand. Drag it to prayer at heart. Drop your arms. Arms reach up. Drop your seat into chair. The weight should be in your heels, guys. Yeah. Dive over, bent knees, forward fold. Let your head go. Come to the fingertips to prepare, step or float through your vinyasa. When you get to your down dog, land your right foot forward for another warrior one. Feeling a little bit more open, hopefully. Looking great. Hands to the floor, vinyasa. When you get to your down dog, land your left foot forward, turn the back foot strong. It's on a pretty strong angle. Warrior one. Your whole torso is facing forward. Bring it back down, plank. Bend your elbows in half for that chaturanga. Drag yourself to a nice, bold up dog. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Look where you want to go. Step or float, feet to the top. Long spine on the inhale, breath. Exhale, fold. Root to rise. Just come all the way up this time. Drag it to prayer at heart. So let's just play a little today. Take your block, bring your feet. I'm just going to turn. You can stay facing the direction. Try taking your feet hips width distance. If it's comfortable for you, put the block in between your thighs. Yeah, this is not comfortable. Don't force anything. Arms reach up. Now sit into chair. Good. Hug the block. If your shoulders start to like bother you, just bring your arms back like airplane wings. But I really want you to sit into chair. Move the weight into your heels. Yeah. Press up to stand, hug the block. Drag your hands to prayer. Drop your arms. Keep the block there. And try it again. Arms reach up. Sit again into chair pose. Good. Open your arms wide like this, guys. Yeah. Breathe across your torso. I think this changes the pose. Squeeze tight. Without your hips moving, so you might not get that far, begin to turn your torso. So your arms are going to pivot. Mine can go, so I'm kind of splitting the mat in half. The left arm forward, the right arm back. But if you feel that the whole left side of your body starts to turn, you're gonna stop kind of here, or maybe even less. But keep squeezing the block. Yep. Pull around to center, arms out wide. Arms reach up. Press up to stand. Keep the block there. Draw it to prayer. Drop your arms. We're adding on. Arms reach up. Go big. Sit again into chair. Open out your arms wide. You could stop here too. Start to pivot just your torso. So from above the belly button above into this twist, kind of cutting the mat in half. But watch your right leg. If the knee starts to slide out in front of you, you got to back out. It may be less. Weight in your heels. Pull around to center. Open up your arms. Stretch the arms up. Press up to stand. Drag it to prayer. Move the block. Feet together. Chair pose. One more time, guys. Sit into chair. Drag your hands to prayer. Hook your elbow, take it to the right. I'm not going to hold it long. Steer your weight into your heels. Yeah. My little dinky heaters got me sweating. Yeah. Breath flowing. Yeah. Keep the legs strong. Pull around to chair. Arms up. Sit a little deeper. Bring the hands back to a prayer. Twist the other direction. Get in there. Watch that the right knee doesn't turn and come forward. Slide the shoulders up and down. Weight in your heels. Look up. Dig the heels into the mat, guys. Chair pose. Press up to stand. Woo, it gets you good. Hands to prayer. Drop your arms. If you have the block, take the block, place it at the top of the mat, the long direction. Stand with your left foot on the block. Just do this. If you don't have a block, just stand on the ground. Take your hands to your hips for a second. Feel that your pelvis stays forward. Reach down, take your right leg up into a tree. Yeah. I like to grab onto that ankle and get it up there. If the foot does not get itself all the way up, your tree could look like this with your foot down on your calf. The goal of today's practice is to work on your alignment, your balance. Hands to prayer. Open out your arms wide today. Grip the hips underneath you and breathe. Steady your mind, steady your breath. You may choose to stay like this. If you'd like to try and dabble with something a little different today, follow along the best that you can. If not, just stay in this tree and work here. Keep the left arm reaching out. I'm going to reach down with my right hand and grab my big toe. So now I'm floating this tree up. With my leg on an angle, I'm going to kick out. Not all the way out to the side and not all the way forward. Keeping my hip points squared. My right leg is out at an angle like I'm in triangle pose. Grip the hips underneath me. Reach the left arm out to the side and look up. Using that strength, I'm going to bring my leg back to tree and join those of you that didn't take this into that leg extension, arms out. Arms up. Hands to prayer. Step down. Just stand for a second with your hands on your hips and your feet hips width distance. Move the weight now to the right leg. If you switched up the legs and you didn't do, just do whatever leg you didn't do. Stand on your leg, the opposite leg, hands on your hips, and then reach down and see if you can slide the left leg into some version of tree. When we practice this, anticipate falling. It's just part of life. Yeah, grip the hips underneath you. And once you feel that you've got your balance, arms can reach out. And then steady yourself. There's a lot of work happening with that standing right foot. Grip the hips underneath you and make sure your hip points stay forward. Your pelvis is neutral. Stay with this. If this is what you feel is going to give you the best result today, stay with this. Keep reaching the right arm out. Don't move that arm. Left arm's going to reach down. I'm going to see if I can grab my big toe. This may be where I stay. Hip points stay forward. Leg's gonna go out on an angle. So it's not all the way forward and it's not all the way out to the side. It's on an angle, just a little off to the left. Stand up tall, grip the core underneath me and hug the hips in. Replace the foot back into a tree if you can. Successfully do that. Nice work. Find your balance, bring your arms back out. Sweep the arms up. Look up a little with your eyes and test your limits. Hands to prayer, step down. Move your block to the top of the mat. Bring your feet together. Sweep the arms straight up towards the sky. Dive over bent knees, forward fold, let your head go. Come to the fingertips, long spine, step, step, or float through a vinyasa. Nice work, everyone. Upward facing pulls you through. Hips up and back, downward facing. Roll forward to plank. Take your right knee towards your right tricep. Towards it. It's not gonna actually touch. At least mine doesn't even get close. Hug the knee straight in. And then step your right foot smack in between your hands. Turn your back foot strong and cartwheel open to a warrior two. Warrior two. Yeah. Back foot's on a strong angle. Front foot is facing forward. Inner thigh turns open. My torso straight up and down. I'm looking right at you. Arms reach big. 5 breaths. Nothing too crazy. Just breathe. Lengthen the tailbone. Maybe even close your eyes. Feel your hips go heavy in the pose. Yeah, you really want to feel like your hips can descend down. Good. Keep the legs strong. You're going to reverse the warrior today. Flip the palm and reach back. Now, when I reach back, my left hand just slides a little bit down the back side of my left leg. And it's just more of a hip opener, like a front side body opener than a hip opener. Look up a little. As you reach through warrior two, bring your hand to the outside of your foot. I like a block. If you need something a little bit less intense, your arm can just rest on the top of the thigh today. Left arm is welcome to go straight up or can wrap forward. Just reminding you that your bicep must turn down and the baby finger pivots towards the ground. That's the direction of the arm. It's like an arrow. So if reaching the arm this direction doesn't feel good for your shoulder, just reach it straight up or have your hand on your hip this morning. Practice gripping your right hip underneath you and then turn. There's a little twisting happening, your ribs towards the sky and look up. And when things intensify in this pose, most of us want to back out or give up. Stay with just the feeling and the breath. It won't last too much longer, I promise you. Press the outer part of your right leg against the inside of your right arm if you're in the true traditional A variation. Okay, look down, circle both hands to the floor. Listen carefully. Come to a plank, but hug your right knee back in like we started. Take it over to the left arm now, and then find a fallen triangle. So you're gonna straighten out your right leg. You can also modify and take a just side plank with your knee down. Fallen triangle, yeah. Right hand down, left arm up. Perfect. Breathe. Look down, left hand comes to the floor, square the hips up, hug the knee back in, land your right foot into this low lunge. You're still on the right side. Stay with me, guys. Reach for a block, any direction. Come up into a half moon. So we're staying pretty close to the floor as we do this. I'm going high with my block today because I feel like I need a little bit more support, but by all means, you can place this down any direction. Grip your right hip underneath you. Your right leg is like a Tadasana, standing up tall. Left arm up. If you want to bind and take Chopasana, reach behind you, grab your ankle. The kick goes behind you today. The bottom ribs turn and you look up. Hardest part of this is keeping your right foot forward. Release into regular Ardha Chandrasana if you took on something fancy. Stay with me. The transition is just as important as the pose. The transition is the pose. Look down, you're gonna slide into a triangle. If you need your block, bring it with you. If not, grab the front of your shin and extend your left arm up. I like my hand on the front of the shin, like the sensation of pulling up. The left leg is strong. There's a slight little bend behind the right knee, so I'm not going into hyperextension, although that would never happen. I'm not that bendy. Lift from the side body and breathe. 2 more. Look down, circle both hands to the floor to a plank position. When you get to plank, lower your knees, your chest, your chin. Sliver forward to a baby cobra. Your hands are gonna reach back. Yeah, so slide them back further than you think. Yeah, tops of the feet pressed down. Float your hands up, keep your neck long. So your hands are just gonna float up off the floor. But pull them back further than you think. They're kind of like where the space between your ribs and your belly button. Yeah, anchor your legs, press the tops of the feet strong. Place the hands back down, slide your seat to a child's pose. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Nice work, guys. Downward facing dog. Roll forward plank. Left knee, left tricep in the general direction. Yeah, it may not get that close. That's okay. Keep your arms straight up and down. Keep looking forward. Hug the left knee straight in. Give it a good squeeze to the center line. Then land your left foot smack. Turn the back foot strong. Cartwheel open, warrior 2. Warrior 2. Take a few moments to kind of set up this warrior 2. Left foot is forward. Right toes are turned on an angle. Inner thigh rolls open. Chest nice and wide. Let your hips go heavy and kind of descend down into the pose. Yeah. Stay with the breath. As you get tired in the posture, the nature is that our torso kind of wants to spin towards the front edge. Remember, your torso straight up and down and open. Flip the palm, reverse your warrior subtly. It's a soft pose. Keep bending into the front thigh. Reach back out into warrior 2. Find an A variation. Maybe your arm rests on the top of the thigh for this morning. Maybe you can reach down, place your hand on a block to the outside of your foot. Decide what feels good with your top right arm, straight up, or you can wrap it forward. Grip your left hip strong underneath you. Turn the bottom ribs open. There's a strong angle with your right foot, so press it really firm. If there's a big separation with your outer left thigh, press it strong against the inside of the left leg. Outside of the left leg to the inside of the left arm is what I'm trying to say. And about right here is where most of us want to run for the hills. So just stay, 2 more breaths. Transitions are important. Let's move slow together. Look down, place both hands to the floor. You're going to come to a plank position, hugging your knee straight in. Take it to the right elbow and then slide the leg out into a fallen triangle. And if this is not available in your practice, just drop the knee and modify the side plank. Left arm pressing firm, hand pressing firm, tricep gripping in. Good. Back leg is strong like a warrior 2. Look down, both hands come to the floor. Hug the knee back in towards the chest in this plank. Re-land the left leg. You're still on the left leg. Reach for your block and float close to the floor into your version of half moon. If your balance is a little off, you can always go to a wall. Grip your left hip underneath you. Keep that left foot strong. Stack the shoulders, stack the hips. So just reminding you, with your right leg, you want it in line with your body. So you don't want it really high up. Yeah, you want it in line. So if you were to look down the sideline of your body, you'd see your toes. You like to add the Chopasana, which is the half bind. Give it a go. The kick goes behind you. Soften the front knee a little. Yeah. Turn the bottom ribs. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. It's not the end of the world. Falling is part of life, especially on our mats. It's a good place to explore. Keep gripping that left hip in. Revisit regular Ardha and Chandrasana. That's the traditional half moon if you added in anything. Now we're going to transition slowly together. Giant step back, see if you can find triangle. Grab the front of your shin. If you need your block, you bring it with you. If it didn't work out, you reset. Look up with your eyes. Side body obliques working strong. Yeah, it's almost like you're pulling the mat kind of together with your legs. Spin the chest open. Feel the feet on the floor. Look down. Place both hands to frame your front foot. Breathe yourself through a vinyasa or just step to a downward facing dog, whatever you think you need here. Yeah, whatever you think you need. Stay with the flow a little longer. Glide your right foot forward. Come up into crescent lunge. Yeah. Bring the hands to prayer. Inhale the breath, hook the elbow, and let's take it into this twist. Hook that elbow. Activate your back leg. Listen, if you get here and you're like, you know what, I really can't support this pose, drop the knee and take it like this. I do that all the time. Grip your right hip underneath you. Squeeze your inner thighs together. And rather than looking back, because I find that rounds our spine, just look to the right or maybe look up. Open up your arms if you want more, or just stay as you are. Stay with it. Two more. Look down, place both hands to the floor, pause. Good. So from here, what I want you to do is kind of bump that back foot in. So you're taking a tighter, smaller stance. Bring your hands on your hips and pull yourself up. So it's about 3 feet roughly, unless you've got long legs. Walk your right foot a little to the right. So like we started early, open up your arms wide like this. So your hips, your pelvis is completely neutral to the front edge of your mat and there's no turning. The turning is happening here. Begin to pivot your torso to the right, just above the belly button, like you're splitting the mat down the center. Look right, don't look all the way back. It's gonna get a little tricky. Reach out with your left hand. Slide your hand to the front of your shin today, or if it feels more comfortable, take a block underneath the hand. Keep the right arm reaching up if possible, twisting triangle. Steer the hips back, like someone's got you by a bungee wire and they're pulling you towards the back edge of the mat. Press firm through that back leg. If having your right arm up kind of stops you dead in your tracks, bring your right hand and just slide it to the flat part of your back. We got to get over ourselves a little and do a little less sometimes. Collarbone, chest, nice and open. Look up with your eyes and twist. Stay with it. On the next sharp exhale breath, we're going to come out. So look down, place both hands to the floor. So take your left hand like we started in that child's pose and stack it on top of your right palm and reach towards the baby toe off to the right of your right foot. Let your head go. This kind of creates a little bit more of a stretch. Let me see how you're all doing with that. Yes. So the nature is that our whole body wants to go that way, but I want you to really feel your hips, your pelvis, everything really stable. Great. Walk your hands back to frame out your front foot. Step through a vinyasa or a downward facing dog, vinyasa, whatever you want to do here to make it feel good. Nice. When we meet in our down dog, glide the left foot forward, crescent lunge, hang with it. Come on up. Back leg strong, or maybe op that knee down. Arms reach up. Drag the hands to a prayer. Inhale that breath, lean out. This time you get to hook the elbow and enjoy the twist. So remember, there's a gripping of this hip in, your left hip. Now leaning back a little, back leg super strong. And then look up or look sideways. Open up your arms if you want more action, or just stay with this. Good. Almost feel like you're leaning back a little bit. Get the crown of the head to line up with your back heel. And then squeeze that glute really tight. Yeah. Two more. Look down, place both hands to the floor. Pause. Scooch that back foot in, straighten out your legs, bring your hands to your hips, pull yourself up. So it's a short warrior one stance. Open up your arms nice and wide today. Activate your legs, press firm through that back leg. Begin to turn your torso to the left. Just your torso. Stay really upright to start. So your left arm needs a little more energy to get you more upright. Look forward, reach out with your right hand, slide it to the front part of your shin, or go for a block. So my back leg is super strong and engaged, but my front leg has a little bend. Yeah. And then my two arms can stack nicely and open big. All the little muscles around your back right kneecap are engaged. So fire up those muscles, stack the two shoulders and look up. Steer the hips back and breathe. Look down, take both hands to the floor. Now take your right palm and walk it on top of your left hand, and then creep the hands over to the left, just enough that you feel the side of your body kind of firing up. Let the head go. Hips stay squared, they're not moving. So if you run, you cycle, you play tennis, you pretty much live your life, stretching out the side of our body is very hard. These are like little things that you can do that are very helpful. Come back to center, plant the hands, step to a down dog. Just step to a down dog. In your down dog here, drop your forearms to the floor for a dolphin pose. I'll give you a little trick. Take your block the long direction. Take your hands, the insteps of your hands around that block. So it looks like this. And then that's going to help your arms kind of create the shape that they need. And then bring the forearms down. Then pop your hips back up and come to this dolphin pose, this down dog on your forearms. Keep your head up off the mat. Yeah, your eyes just look forward a little bit, your neck stays neutral. And then I find that when you hold that block, you can hug in a lot more. Yes. Then if you want to start to creep your feet a little closer and maybe breathe one leg up or breathe the other leg up or breathe both legs up. If you have someone nearby that can help you up or you're near a wall, this is your time to experiment. If you like, I'm not going up, there's no going up here. You just stay and breathe. You can soften behind your knees. Nice, Susie. Flex those feet, lengthen your tailbone. Perfect. Last 5 breaths wherever you are. Grip those outer triceps, Kristen, in. Yep, nice work. You went all the way up, meet us back in that dolphin pose. Come out slow, meet us in dolphin. Yeah, let's keep our hips up. Let's stay high in this pose. And then from your dolphin pose, press back to your hands and come back to a downward facing dog. Roll forward to a plank. Bend your elbows in half to a chaturanga. Slide yourself through an up dog, point your toes a lot. Press your hips up and back, downward facing. Look forward, land your right knee forward for a half pigeon. Half pigeon pose. Yeah. You're almost there. Yeah, come forward, half pigeon, and rock. Relax. Yeah, let yourself just melt in this. Nowhere else to go but be a pigeon. Let the head go. And just reminding you, if you feel like all your weight is rolling to your right, make sure that your left hip stays square to the ground, your thigh stays down. Just a little bit more. So a little different today. We're not going to go into the traditional back bending. We're going to come up this way, swing the left leg around, make the shape of a tree with your legs. So my right leg is bent in and my left leg is kind of out on an angle, and just sit up for a second. Yeah. Right hand goes behind you and you're going to press yourself into sail pose today. This is a different back bend. So if you can, your left leg goes strong and the whole left foot can touch the floor. And if you can't do that, just do as much as you can. Left arm reaches up and back, and make sure that your right hand is facing towards the back edge of your mat. Good. And then lift your hip points up and look up. Exhale the breath, lower down. Bring your right knee into the center. Wrap your left foot around for Ardha Matsyendrasana, which is known as a seated spine twist. If keeping the right leg bent in half aggravates you, the leg can be straight out. Left hand behind you, hook the elbow, take the twist. And if you like, you can reach down and grab the outer blade of your left foot with your right hand and extend the left leg straight forward. Left hand must stay at the base of your spine so you're not leaning back, you're neutralized. Look to the left, or you can look back a little. So you're either in a seated spine twist or maybe getting this leg extension. If the leg doesn't go out, it's okay. Rebend the leg. Come back to center. You're going to neutralize and go the other direction. And here we go. You're going to come forward for bull seat. You're going to stack the left knee over the right knee. Yeah, so Mark, this is the trick with this pose. Bring the weight all the way forward and take your left knee over your right knee. So just do that. And then bring your block with you, because most of you will need a block. As you sit down, make sure that your feet are out of the way. The block can be underneath your butt or a pillow. Yes. And then sit up. Now, some of you are more flexible, so getting your tush down on the ground is totally fine. You can hook the big toes and you can fold, or you can just stay upright and breathe into your body and pray for this to be over. If you really want to go for it, you could bind your arms into Gomukhasana. This is the more traditional pose, and then you fold with Gomukhasana arms. Just giving you options, because you're all at home, you can do different things. No one has to do the same thing. 5 more breaths, and we'll move on. Stay with it. If you bent forward, lift your torso up, unravel your arms, and then just unravel yourself and step to a downward facing dog. Last side, guys, let's stay with it. From your down dog, glide your left leg forward for a half pigeon. This is it, half pigeon. And fold your torso down. Turn your right thigh to the floor and breathe yourself into this half pigeon. Make sure your right thigh stays facing the ground. Yeah. A little longer. Good. Use the strength of your body. Come up. Lean onto your left butt cheek. Slide your right leg forward. Make a tree with your legs. Yep. Right leg out, left leg bent. Left hand behind you. The palm faces the back edge of your mat. You're pressing up into sail pose. Right leg goes strong and reach the right arm up and back. I think this feels amazing. It's so nice rather than taking bridge and wheel. We do the same thing all the time. So lift up and feel the back bend in a different way. On the next sharp exhale breath, bring yourself back down. Sweep your left knee forward, wrap your right foot around. You're coming into seated spine twist, 2 butt cheeks down, right hand behind you. Inhale the breath, exhale, look over the right shoulder and twist. You can give the leg a little squeeze. You can hook the elbow to the outside of the thigh. You can reach down, grab the foot. This is gonna give you an IT band release. But make sure the spine stays nice and upright as you breathe that right leg forward and twist. If the leg extended out, replace the foot back down to the ground, come to center. Good. Last thing here, bring the weight forward, stack the right knee on top of the left. So do this first. This is the easiest way to master this pose, is to move forward almost like you're in a tabletop. Right knee in front of the left. Really make sure your feet come out far away from you and then sit back. Because most of the time what happens is you end up trying to sit on your feet. And it's good if you're at home, shove something underneath, shove a small person underneath and sit on them. I almost just had to sit on someone who was breaking in just a second ago. Gomukhasana, arms opposite here, if you have that. Or you can just sit, hook the big toes and breathe. Close your eyes, last little bit here. Breathe into whatever you feel on the outside of your legs, outer hips. Good. If you took a bound upper body, unravel your arms, pull your torso up. Come up nice and slow. Unravel your legs for me. Take your feet flat to the floor. If you have a block, bring it with you. So this is the last thing we're doing. Lay down. Lift the tailbone up. Pick a direction with the block. It could be low. It can be medium. The higher is going to be the most intense and the most, uplifting. Wrap your arms around like you're going into bridge pose with a support. And then one leg at a time, the legs go up. You're going to stay here for a minute, and then I'm going to bring you into a traditional Shavasana for another minute. If you don't have a block, your lower back can just stay flat on the ground. If you're near a wall, you can go towards the wall. Nice work. Flex strong through your feet. Keep them up. Another 10 seconds or so. So just so you know what this is doing for you, this is flushing out lactic acid in the legs. That's what makes our legs sore from other workouts. Right. So getting your legs up and down is an inversion, and it's going to move the blood flow in your body. Bend your knees in half, take your feet flat to the floor. Once they get down onto the ground, remove the block safely and slowly. Lower the tailbone to the ground. Hug the knees tightly in towards the chest if that feels good to you. And then set up for Shavasana. For the next minute or so, see if you could just be still. If there's any final movements that you need, of course, take them. Complete rest. Breathe a big, deep breath in through your nose. A full exhale breath out. If you want to stay longer, just click the end on the screen and melt into Shavasana. If you need to re-enter the world, hug your knees to your chest, give them a big squeeze in. And move slowly enough that you come up to seat. And just sit up here for a moment. Bring your hands to a prayer heart. Yeah. And this is our reality. Yes. Sit up nice and tall and just feel the effects of this morning's practice. You guys rocked it. Really awesome first practice of 2021. May all of our yoga continue from here. Bow our head with gratitude. Lift our heads, open our eyes. Namaste to you all. Go out there, enjoy some sunshine and a little bit of warmer weather. And I'll see you all soon. Happy New Year.